Hello, welcome back. Um, this morning when I woke up, the thing that was on my mind was moms. Moms with kids that they have adopted, they have. Maybe they're fostering. Maybe you're fostering right now. Maybe you've just found out that your child has RAD and you're overwhelmed. I know as a foster parent, we were overwhelmed and it was really hard. This is not something that you can really be super prepared for. I mean, I don't know. I look back and I think, what could we have done differently to prepare? We didn't read enough books. We really felt super called to foster, and we'd always wanted to adopt. That had been in our hearts for a really long time. I remember talking about that even when we were dating. And so we talked about all things life and future together when we were dating. But anyways, the life of fostering is one that is extremely hard. We went through an agency, and so they're just RAD was never brought up. It wasn't mentioned at any point. But anyways, this morning my heart is just heavy for moms. This will be emotional. Because this is such a hard life that no one understands if they're just seeing us and looking from the outside in. And if you've experienced anything like I have, trying to explain this to people is very difficult because, as we all know, these kids are so different in public. They're so different when they're around the rest of the extended family, and they put on the best front, right? And meanwhile, maybe before you arrive to the family gathering or to the birthday party or whatever it is, maybe you had a screaming match with your child. Maybe they were ticked because they needed to change their shirt because it was dirty, and it was obviously dirty, and you had to have a big fight about it and then get to the event and be stressed out and wanting to break down and feeling like you have to keep it all together. I just want to say to you moms, good job. You're doing a good job. It might not feel like it right now, but we're dedicated to these kids, and we want the best for these kids, right? We want more for them than they want, but we just don't ever hear good job, and that sucks, and that's really hard. But I just want to validate you. I want you to know that you're heard and you're seen, because you're paying a really high price to be the mother of any children. But it's so different than having biological children, and I want to give you permission to lower your expectations as far as it's not going to be like a biological child. It just isn't. It's you can love them. I don't want you to withhold your love, but I want you to have the right expectations that it's not going to be what you thought. And so with that, grieve what you don't have and what you might not ever have. I know that it sounds maybe harsh, but actually it was really, someone said it to me. I got to speak with someone who was adopted at 10 days old. In our first meeting ever, one another, we talked for hours, and she listened to my heart, and she just kind of gave me that permission of like, grieve what you don't have. That really hit me. I mean, I went probably a solid 8 years of just taking all of it, right? Like the trauma, the the just the dysfunction, right? The dysfunction of it all. We adjust so rapidly to a life that's full of just chaos. Like I'm blown away at how resilient we really are as people. But we adjust rapidly to this new way of life where it's just chaos, and that becomes our new normal. And so then it just doesn't feel like there's anything wrong because we just adjust to this new level of chaos that is our life. And so I was in a good 8 years of living this life and having it wreak havoc on my health, mentally, emotionally, physically, hormonally. Okay, can we be very real and honest? I'm 41. I believe that I kind of started into perimenopause a little bit early, and I was turning into a rage monster. Like, I'm a very laid back person, and I was becoming very much not laid back. Breathing got on my nerves, right? Like, there's just so many things. I was so triggered all of the time. And this woman that I spoke with, as she listened to me so well, I mean, she just listened, and that was very affirming and wonderful. And she asked me if I had heard of compassion fatigue. I said, no, I've never heard of that before in my life. She says, well, when you go home, call your doctor right away. Let them know that you are suffering from compassion fatigue or secondary trauma, because this can lead to very serious depression. That woke me up. I was floored by that idea, that I was struggling that much. I don't have insurance. I don't have a doctor. My husband is self-employed. Anybody else in that boat? That's an interesting one. It's been good, but we can't afford insurance. So no, and we don't qualify for other assistance in that area. So anyway, we focused on self-care. She encouraged me to get away. She encouraged me to do things at home that I can do, to get alone time, and to just take care of myself. I'd ignored myself the entire time up to that point. And it was like 8 years. So I want to encourage you to take care of you, Mom. If you need to get face masks from the dollar store, if you need to make a run to Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, whatever your beverage of choice, do that. If you need to make your bedroom a safe haven, do that. My son cannot. He has to have permission to go into my room. He does not get to just walk in. Everybody else does. I mean, if the door is shut, they know to knock. But self-care is huge. I've tried to get therapy. I want therapy. Again, there's no post-adoption services for me. I've looked. I've tried. There's nothing. It's not free. I'm in Indiana. I've pursued that. They tell you there's free things. No, there's not. You got to have insurance, and that sucks. I hate that. So, if you're in that boat, maybe we can be one another's therapy. I don't know. But anyway, you're doing a good job. Take care of yourself. Communicate with whomever, your spouse, your mother, mother-in-law, best friend. Do whatever you need to do to get support, because that child will be better for someone else. So don't hesitate to let someone take care of them for you. You deserve to have a break on a regular basis, and if at all possible, go to an Airbnb. I don't care if it's 30 minutes away. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to cost lots of money. Get away alone. to just reset. I've done that a few times. My sister-in-law has a cottage, so in the early spring, in the summer and fall, it's really helpful because I can just drive up there and I don't have to pay for anything, and I can just stare out the window and not answer anybody's questions, make anybody's food, think about appointments. I don't have to do any of that. That, I was blown away at how much that helped me heal and to renew my mind, to renew my strength, to renew my compassion and my understanding, and to just be away and not have to worry about anyone else. Now, my husband was kind of hurt by that because I didn't want him to go. He can't imagine going anywhere without me, but my upbringing, and I can share my story another time, but I spent a lot of time alone. So that's very familiar. But I needed that. I needed alone time. He's awake. That's super helpful. So do that if you can. Good morning. So get away if you can. Do that quarterly. Do it in some sort of fashion that is beneficial to you, and you can have that time. Fall in love again with your spouse and make time for those dates. You too need to connect, and it can be difficult to talk about anything else sometimes. It's just we focus on these kids that are just all consuming. They just are. But we need to be able to talk about something else, and we need to be able to just be together and enjoy one another's company, uninterrupted by children. Do that. Take time to be with one another in a positive way that is healthy for your relationship, and do the best you can to communicate and to be there for one another and to listen to one another. Husbands, if you are watching this, please listen to your wife. Be her safe person. Be her safety net, and allow her to share all of her feelings, all of her thoughts, and don't take it personally. Let her share her frustrations, her angers, her disappointments, and do your best to just listen. There's not always a fix for this, but one time my husband, it was just so stressful. It was such a stressful, awful time. And he was working, and he called me and he said, go get a massage. Make an appointment. Go today, right now. Go do that. That meant a lot to me because I like that. I really like massages. I don't do that a lot. Sometimes if I'm in pain and I just need it, I will pursue that. But again, self-care, we put ourselves to the side, and we do sacrifice, and we are supposed to do that, but we're not supposed to kill ourselves in the process. We can die to ourselves and our desires and our interests, but we don't need to wreak havoc on our hormone systems and our health overall. That's not what we are supposed to do. We need to be healthy, and we need to do all that we can to be healthy, but we feel like we can't, that there's no permission for that. But I want to give you permission today to take care of yourself. Don't give up. Don't give in. You can do this. You are doing this, but don't just survive. Find a way to thrive. Okay? Find a way to find your sense of joy that can fill your cup, because you are important and you matter. Your life matters. Your health matters. Everything that you do for your children needs to come from a place of wholeness as much as possible. I encourage you in that, and I thank you for taking time. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. But you got this, Mama. You and I were in it together.